We're on Sun and Moon Yoga Studios space here virtually, and I'm here every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, and then the recording is here later. And do check out our website, sunandmoonstudio.com, for all that we're offering freshly and all the goings on in our community that don't only include yoga and this path of movement and meditation, but also a book club, workshops on topics where you can go more deep. Hi, Mary Beth. Thank you for pinging me there on the chat, and I'm assuming my sound is good. If I don't see another chat from you, I'll assume it is, or you can put one in there. So hi everyone. Hi friends, and those who are joining us at Sun and Moon Yoga Studio through this portal on Sunday mornings and whenever you can. My name's aLex, and I'm not at home where I'm usually streaming from on 10 a.m. Sunday mornings, but in a beautiful, so well-appointed historical Hotel Berks in Montreal. I'm here for a family. I want to call it a celebration of life. I think it's termed funeral services, but I do see these events as celebrations of life. So for this short, roughly 20 to 30 minutes together, have a comfortable space. I have a fireplace behind me. It's incredible. And it's nice and warm. I think it's in the teens outside here. Some snow on the ground, a little bit. So I've got a sweater nearby in case I'll need it. I've got a cushion to sit on later for the sitting part. So let's fully arrive. I titled today's piece, and I take the liberty to possibly change the title later, but I titled it as Surrender. I thought about titling it Higher Resolution, Letting Go, Higher Perspective as I was landing from the plane yesterday, seeing the beautiful city lights and snowy fields below. And I'll explain as we go why I chose the word surrender. And by the way, when I record on my phone when I travel, I'm always not sure if I might be kicked off by a text coming in or a phone call. So if I'm kicked off and the video stops, I might restart it, but probably will just end there. So let's take these next few breaths to arrive together, find a truly comfortable spot. For now, don't support your bottom. And as I said earlier, before I formally started, you could do this from the ground, from your being on your back. So that is a possibility. Thank you so much for joining me as we arrive and come into presence. This path that as we commit to it, more and more reveals to us about ourselves, about life, about our dharma, what our way should be, about options and possibilities, all toward freedom. So arriving, I feel my bottom on the ground. I invite you to feel the parts of you touching and the particular qualities. Behind me, I feel a gentle warmth in my upper back from the faux fire behind me, the gas fire. And underneath my hips and pelvis and tops of my legs, I'm a little coolness. I'm going to pull the sweater around me. And just let yourself surrender, let go into this gravitational field, even if it makes you bow forward a little round your back. Just feel what it is to let go. You could just as easily open your front more and do a tiny back bend, lean onto your arms and be more surrendering, and maybe bow your head. So yes, you can be moving a little in this first part as you feel through our senses, feel how you can sense, how you can lean into gravity, this downward force more. I choose this first because I have struggled against it so much, pulling in and up in fight or flight or freeze or frustrating situations. That is often a response. And in a sense, it's a wise response. But at some point, that holding is a habit that's really binding our energy instead of serving us. So you can do this over and over in micro moments in your day to just find that downward grounding, that holding that the earth holds us here. We're not unmoored, and well, sometimes in our minds we are, but we're not like floating around in space, which also has its appeal, doesn't it? As we envision astronauts or being on the moon or something like that. And so allow the opposite. So every force has an opposite. The downward force of gravity has a bounce up that we could draft on, just like you draft behind another bicycle, that you could draft to not have to effort to find the lightness, but find it as you breathe, as you feel the space around, and in partnership with that downward pull of gravity. If you run into some unease, like I just did, I'm going to stretch one leg out on the ground. Notice what sounds are floating in towards you, into you. Perhaps notice how that connects your inner and your outer experience. Places you not alone in the world. So ground, breath, sound. And we're surrendering as we allow ourselves to open to this possibility of more ease, which takes a kind of courage, takes a kind of trusting into that something's catching us, that we can open up, that we won't be blindsided, that we won't be hurt. Or an opening that we might be hurt again, but it's, what is that, a nice Nin phrase of, oh, I haven't memorized it, but you know what I mean. I think it's at some point for the bud to not open is more painful than to open. So let's lean back a little, bend your knees. And I know you can't see my legs on the floor probably, but I'm going to lean my knees over to the right side, and sort of a pinwheel shape, or you could have your left knee resting on your right ankle, and my right hand just comes to the ground just to support me. So I'm leaning a bit more on my right hip, space under my left hip. And just land here and bring your left arm to a shoulder level. And begin to sweep your arm across to your right and your eyes following your hand, and then to the open to the left, eye following hand. And even if you wanted to close your eyes, just let your gaze be toward where your hand, you expect your hand to be in that trajectory. And if at any point any of this is too much on the wrist, the spine, do less, stop, just imagine that you're doing it. And the wrist, as you might be able to see, my wrist is moving. You could have your elbow bent a little or not. Now let your eyes go farther. So the hand goes to someone and your head go farther. Oh, wow. I could turn around and see the fire behind me. In both directions. The head goes a little farther and the eyes can go even farther. So the torso, the arm has some limit, and then the head could go, neck and head go a little more, the tops of the shoulders. The orbs of the eyes can roll a little more in their socket. And you might even need, as I've done, to reposition the left hand. As you go, you can pick it up and change it to support. And notice that the hips and legs are not abandoning us. They're with us. They're doing something. And let them move and shift. Let the golden ball deep in the belly, the lower dantian, let it help you, assist you. And as you're leaning onto your right hand, more on the thumb side, it's a little more stable. You could even be up on fingertips. It's kind of like a spider position. All right, leave that for a moment. Just let the arm down. Take it up again, and this time, as you open your arm out to the left, turn your head to the right and shift. So a crossing where the arm comes across the body as you look over your shoulder, your left shoulder. And again, let the eyes go deeper, farther in this lateral direction. And meet everything to the best of your ability. Meet all that you encounter. Ease is easy to welcome with kindness, but that limit in my neck and shoulder as I look over the left shoulder, that was not as easy to meet with tenderness. But now that I have the idea reminded to me, I will try. And then together again as we started. Breathing freely, you might notice that you're pairing your breath and movement together. All right, let it go. Just come back to center, any position with the legs that's comfortable. Drop into a still place for a moment. A handful of moments. You might like to stay there for a while. Sometimes after that bit of attention and movement together, you go really deep and quiet. That's all it takes. And if you choose, you could actually start your meditation at this point. I will do a couple movements on the other side to show, to repeat and show you. Again, the knees can be far apart so the legs don't touch, the left foot and right leg don't touch, but they also could be sort of stacked, what I call mermaid-like. Either way, leaning onto your left hand, arm now, and opening, looking at the hand, the right hand, following it as it makes a movement parallel to the ground, roughly. This was one of the very first Feldenkrais movements I learned last century, I think in 1999, maybe 2000. Enjoy this, enjoy it. Notice how the planet, whatever floor you're sitting on, is propping you up, is holding you. Eyes go farther, head goes farther, see what's behind you. Very primal, primitive kind of movement to look to both sides and check, am I safe? And then maybe in motion you can switch. That takes quite a complex switch to the head and torso going in opposite directions. A complex neuromuscular jaunt. And perhaps just presence, just spacious presence. You can see that it defaults to a kind of kindness. Byron Katie says, I'm pretty sure something like, reality is kind. It's never not kind, according to her. There's a koan. Okay, and together again. So we did a little bit less on this side, noticing the whole of you. And either keep going, or maybe you've been still, or stop now. Maybe you want to keep moving for the rest of our time together. I'm going to pause, put a cushion under my tush, and come into stillness. So if you are really finding what you need in the movement, as I invited, go ahead and stay with movement. If you are ready to be still, and perhaps the support of us being here together helps that. It's difficult, as I mentioned earlier, it takes a courage to open up, to surrender, to be still enough and feel what's here. What's the more of what is here? And certainly take what the time you need, as I have been doing, to get the still posture just right. For today, it might be different. Mine is a little different than I usually have it. My legs are slightly differently crossed. And you might be on your back, you might be still in movement. And then for those of us choosing stillness, use what you need to tether yourself if you feel like you start to wander away from our intent. Use a mantra, use finding ground, use breath, use the subtle connector of sound. And as possible, just let yourself lightly let go of any of those tools, techniques, and simply receive and open. The very same phenomenon that might be termed distractions or irritations, annoyances, those are each gifts disguised. So being in this neutral, spacious, open, receiving mode, those can arrive without as much fuss and noise. Much like another parallel with my dog training that I haven't mentioned in a while. I'm finding the more I stay relaxed, receptive, and a strong groundedness, sometimes needing to reposition my body to give him a sense of tetheredness, focus. He calms down. Of course, we're practicing a lot together. So some of those annoyances that may come, perhaps just invite them to sit nearby or not too near. Not time for discussion now, but just being together. Letting the neutral acceptance of this space hold us. Just here. A few more breaths together. And so as we'll transition from this particular kind of mind state that we find in the quiet, stillness, transition to the next, and this is a good jump to be familiar with, to be able to jump from that real quiet to active with still perhaps aware, conscious awareness. And as we do that, I'm going to read to you from John O'Donohue, partly because this is where my book opened to, and partly for other reasons that match. To learn from animal being, nearer to the earth's heart, deeper within its silence. Animals know this world in a way we never will. We who are ever distanced and distracted by the parade of bright windows, thought opens. Their seamless presence is not fractured thus. We who are ever distanced and distracted by the parade of bright windows thought opens, their seamless presence is not fractured thus. Stranded between time gone and time emerging, we manage seldom to be where we are, whereas they are always looking out from the here and now. May we learn to return and rest in the beauty of animal being, learning to lean low, leave our locked minds, and with freed senses feel the earth breathing with us. May we enter into lightness of spirit and slip frequently into the feel of the wild. Let the clear silence of our animal being cleanse our hearts of corrosive words. May we learn to walk upon the earth with all their confidence and clear-eyed stillness, so that our minds might be baptized in the name of the wind and the light and the rain. Let the clear silence of our animal being cleanse our hearts of corrosive words. Here's the bookmark that was there. I think a drawing of a cat and a flower and a heart. So thank you for joining me. Let's bring our hands together in front of our hearts, bowing our heads to heart and hands. May we and may all beings know how to feel safe, know courage, find health, and connect with our own true nature. Maybe chew on that reality is always kind idea. Could it be? Thank you so much. Thanks, Mary Beth, for being here today with me in Montreal. I will see you guys next week. Ciao, ciao.